Welcome to Board Games Daddy. Today we are going to visit the rainforest with Cacao, a game from the Fear from Phil Walker Harding. So this is a tile placement game that is exploring the jungle where you will build your village and try to produce cacao here that sell and earn points. 8 players, sorry, 8 years old minimum, 2 to 4, 45 minutes. It's a cool game, very simple. I like it very much. So I'm going to show you what is inside and a little bit how to play Cacao. So I just heard everything scramble inside, so I hope I haven't done anything bad. Let's see how it looks. So I just have these two manual, the manual and the reference sheet. So the manual is very short, very small, because this is a very simple game. I'll tell you a little bit how it works, and also you have this reference guide to help you during the game to know what all the different tiles exist, and there's only these kind of tiles and these kind of tiles, and that's it. This game has some expansions which I've never tried. I don't own them, so maybe one day I can explore that and bring back here. Okay, so this is the original insert where you have the cacao pieces. 4 players, one for each color. Let me see if I can put everything in place while I speak. And let me show. And we also have these sundials that normally fit there when you don't flip the box. Yep, they fit there. And then in order to avoid more of these problems, the money usually fits here, but I have everything in a box, which is coins from 1 to 5 to 10. So the purpose of the game is for you to get the most money in the end of the game. Who has the more money wins the game. Okay, and how do you do that? So first of all, there is a common pile, which is this one, and then every player will have the small amount of tiles from their color, corresponding to the color of the meeple. Okay, and you will also have one of these, uh, let's say, starting locations, your towns, right? So one for each color, and the way you read this, let me get the yellow one. The way that you read this is when you produce cacao, you can store them here, like that, like this, okay, and you can store maximum 5. More than that, you just lose. The meeple itself serves as this is a starting point for the meeple, and then there's a track here which is called a CNOT track, where you are able to move forward, and the more you go, the more points you get in the end of the game. So if you don't move, you get -10, and then as you start moving, you get more and more and more, and you should get the maximum here, which is 16 more points to the end of the game. So the sundials, when you get those, you will get them here, and I will explain you later what purpose do they fill. Okay, so initially the game starts with 2 tiles randomly taken like this. So the forest tiles, they cannot be adjacent to each other, and at the same time the villagers, they cannot be adjacent to each other. So what you need to do is you need to select a place where you can put one of your tiles, and they are all different. No, sorry, they're all different. They can change. So for example, you have like one worker, and 2 here, 3, 1, and 0 on this side. So you need to choose from the ones that you have in your hand, which is 3, always 3. You need to choose which one you want to use. So if, for example, if I do this here, what happens is I will produce 2 cacao, because these sorry, these are the cacao plantations. So I have 2 workers, they both go there, and they take each 1 cacao. So I put 2 here, and at the same time I activate this side here, which is selling 1 cacao for 2 money. So this one would go away to the box, and I would get 2 coins. That's how you play. And so if this happens, everything's okay, and then it's another player to play, and 2 more random tiles will come here. And anytime something like this happens, which is there is a corner between, it's a bit off camera, so there is a corner where there are 2 villagers and nothing in between, you are forced to put something. So that player will choose what he wants to put. So if he puts here, on the end of his play, if he puts the plantation, he will activate again the villagers that are sided with that new tile. So here, it would give to the yellow player another cacao for his reserves, right? And then the next player will have also two here available, but he needs first of all to play something from his hand. So imagine that I'm another player, so imagine that now we had this here. Okay, so I would put here on the temples, and I would activate the temple, which is nothing happens. Temples only activate in the end of the game. The player that has more workers connected with the temple gets 6. The second one gets 3. In case of a tie, just split in half or among the players. So here I'm dominating the temple because I have 2 workers and no one else has, right? Um, and then again, if I play this, I had created a problem because there is here a corner that needs to be filled. So I had to pick the other mandatorily and put here in order to close this open area, right? So if other players had men workers here, it would score something. Now what I do, I would sell another cacao for 3 money. And that's how the game is played. So strategically, like a chess, you play the pieces. It's always worker forest, worker forest, worker forest, worker forest. So they are never side by side. So that's why they create this dynamic of opening, closing with the other type, opening with another type, etc. And then if you put if imagine that I put a C knot here, one worker visits the C knot, and then it goes up 1. Okay, so one worker per C knot moves the C knot track once. What else we have here? The selling could be different amounts of money, 3, 2, 4. The temples are all the same. You also have the golden mines where you go there and you can get 1 gold or 2 golds. Now the C knot, this one sells for 4, 2. Then the sundials will give you that. I will explain what they do. And that's it. You see? That's it. Very simple in terms of rules. Then what happens? The game ends when everyone has played their tiles. However, when this pile here ends, and it ends before the end of the game, what may happen at that time, if making sense for the player, is if you have sundials here, you can spend one. If you don't spend, they are worth 1 point in the end of the game. But you should spend, because when you give that back to the box, you are able to place the remaining tiles that you have, one you choose, on top of a previous build city. So for example, I could go here, spend a sundial, and put this here and activate everything again. So I would activate the CNUT again, so I could climb even more on the CNUT track. I would activate the plantation, another cacao, and I could change and increase or decrease my presence with this temple in order to earn the points in the end of the game. So that the end of the game strategy is also very important for you to recover some points. Um, and that's it. Cacaos are worthless in the end of the game unless there is a tie. If there is a tie, then the player that has more cacao fruit wins the game. That's Cacao. I don't know why this is for 8 because it's a super simple game, but it looks very cool. I enjoyed it a lot. Reminds me a bit of Carcassonne because of the tile laying, but then you have um, a bit of worker placement. The way you place the tiles, it's more of worker placement ish, right? And that's it. So I hope you have enjoyed. I guess the game becomes even more interesting with the expansions, which I will try to find them. But if you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, consider subscribing. If you are into board games, I truly recommend visiting my channel, where I believe that you'll find interesting content for you and for future videos. So thank you very much and goodbye.